Welcome to Building Better Relationships with Chuck and Barb Lewis, equipping listeners and viewers with the biblical tools to conquer the difficulties faced in this life. Chuck has practiced crisis intervention since the 1980s and has been in ministry together with his wife Barb for over 20 years. They've taken the countless lessons and the knowledge they've acquired and have put them into this life skills class to share with you. We hope this blesses you.
Well, hello again. I'm Pastor Chuck Lewis, and this is my wife.
I'm Barbara.
And we're excited to be with you again for another Building Better Relationships broadcast. And today our topic's going to be...
We're going to talk about adult strategies.
Strategies.
These are strategies adults use to navigate life better.
Well, so we can be in the child position or the adult position. And this is a way to teach us how to be in the adult position, which affects so many outcomes in life.
Right.
If we're operating as a child,
yes,
we're going to do childish things. But if we're operating as an adult, we're going to make a lot more quality decisions.
Right. And one important one that we want to talk about is being able to ventilate or, express emotions that are pent up. And you're really good at talking about all the chemicals in your body when you keep things bottled up and don't ventilate them.
Oh gosh.
So
if we're in the child position and we're angry all the time and upset and frustrated, then our bodies fill up with cortisol, which attacks our immune system.
Right.
Which we could spend a whole hour talking about that, but we just don't have the time to go into that. But being in the adult position means to handle things better.
Right.
Is to just not react, but to respond.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not going to live this life without things that happen that causes reaction within us, but we can sure work on, and the key word that I like to use is practice.
Yes.
The more we practice being in the adult position, the better we get. You'll never get to a place where you never react again. That's when you're dead and in heaven. But as long as we're on this earth, we're going to react.
Right.
We just will.
Right. And so we were talking about ventilation, being able to express feelings that are building up inside of you.
Yes.
And in fact, we could think of ourselves as an aerosol can, and if the pressure builds up, and if we our mouth is the pressure valve, and if we can let out that pressure, then we don't end up with headaches, stomach aches, back aches, because all of us will feel those emotions in our physical body if we don't express them.
So true.
And it really helps me a lot. I think that's something I had to learn to do when you and I got married, because I wasn't used to trusting somebody enough to express my feelings to. But what I would notice, and I didn't always know I needed to talk about something, but if I went to bed at night and I couldn't sleep, that would be my first indication that I really needed to talk about something. And, eventually I learned to talk about them sooner than that.
Yeah.
But after one night, I used to let it go on for days and days, really, the old me. But what I would only eventually got, so I would only go through that one night, and then I would know I needed to talk to you about something.
Sure, absolutely. And really talking about things really helps us to get in the adult position.
Right.
Because children experience things a lot of times and they won't talk about it. Mm-hmm. You say to a child, what's wrong? Nothing. You seem upset. No. We could do that as an adult too. But really, there is something bothering us, and we do need to talk about it. And if you're not with somebody that will talk to you about it, find somebody else, like a pastor, a counselor, or whatever, that you can talk to, that's going to validate your feelings and really help you to get back in the adult position. And the best way I know to do that is to be heard and validated.
Right. So a big adult strategy is using your voice.
Yes.
And if we did not have parents or people in our life when we were kids that helped us express our feelings, then we're probably not used to being able to process that.
Oh yeah, that's
so
right.
that's really important. And for me, I might not even know what's bothering me until I start talking about it. But it's really good for women to have women friends and men to have men friends,
Yes.
to be able to talk things over with somebody
Absolutely.
that you feel safe with, that knows the good, the bad, and the ugly about you and still loves you, and
Right.
where you know that you won't be criticized or gossiped about, keeping things confidential. When somebody takes the risk to share something with you, you need to keep it confidential.
That's right. The worst thing you can do is share important information about you with somebody that's going to gossip about you or tell everybody in the country about you. That you don't need that. But you do need a safe person that's going to really keep what you say in confidence.
Right.
And just pray about it with you and talk to you about it only. And you could even say to them, what I'm sharing with you, I want to be kept in confidence.
Right.
This is not information I want you to share with other people. And that's how you find out if they're what I call a safe person or not. And a safe person will not share with other people what you've shared in confidence, but an unsafe person will.
Correct. And that kind of leads us to the next adult strategy, which is active listening. So if you're telling me something and I could be thinking about what I want to say to what you just said, but then I'm not really listening. So if I'm actively listening to you, then I'm going to repeat back to you what you said, just paraphrase it, make sure I heard you correctly.
Right.
And then you can tell me, yes, you got most of that right, but here's some more. Or I might ask you some questions like, could you tell me more about that? Or on a scale of 1 to 10, how impacting was that for you? So we can ask open-ended questions to help each other share a little more about that.
Right.
And so active listening is to help you truly hear and understand what the other person was saying.
It really is powerful. And Barb, when I first got acquainted with a lot of these tools and skills, it really felt bogus to me. It felt mechanical. I thought, oh my goodness, how can I do these things? But every time I learned how practicing these things helped, when I would get back into my mind of saying, oh, this feels so bogus, nobody does this or whatever, I would start thinking, well, how's the old way working for me?
Right.
And then I'd say, well, it's not working at all. So that's what opened me up to change, to try something different.
Right.
Even though it felt foreign.
And if you really want to make someone feel valued, listen.
Yes.
Because so many people don't listen to what we're saying.
Oh my goodness.
Make eye contact, look the person right in the eye.
Yes.
Listen carefully to what they're saying. And don't be on your phone.
Right.
Don't
be working on your phone at the same time.
Yeah, to me that would, if somebody was on their phone when I was trying to talk to them, I'd think, I'm really not that important to you.
Right, yeah.
You're not giving me your undivided
not
attention.
Not really listening. Yeah.
Right. Right.
For sure. And asking questions. I mean, boy, I don't hear a lot of people ask questions like we need to.
Yes.
And really that's part of learning tools and skills is to ask people more questions about what you're hearing. Right. To invite more sharing.
Yes.
And if you ask them concerning questions to find out more information, then they really know that you care enough to ask.
Right.
See, the old saying goes, people don't really care how much you know until they know how much you really care. And I like that because questions really manifest a caring.
Right.
See.
That I know when you ask me questions, I know that you really care about what went on that day.
Absolutely.
And it just lets me know that you're listening to what I said too, if you ask me questions about that.
And the point also I want to make is you don't ask questions in an interrogating way.
Right.
You don't want to come across threatening with the questions. You don't want to sound like a defense attorney. You want to sound like you're compassionate, you're caring, you really want to find out more information because you really care about that person. I had one person say to me one time, well, what if you don't care? I said, well, then you ask God to give you a heart of caring,
That's right.
to change your heart, because our flesh cares about ourselves. That's what our flesh loves. Galatians 5, if you want to read about that whole chapter, talks about the war that goes on between our flesh and the spirit. And the more we feed, the one we feed the most wins. So if I feed the Holy Spirit, or the Spirit of God within me, then that wins, and that causes more compassion, more caring, more concern. But if I feed the flesh, I'm not going to care at all. I don't care about what they're going through. Why would I care? What's that got to do with me? Type thing.
Right.
But see, God wants us to care. That's His nature.
That's right.
The Lord cares so much about us, and He wants us to have that same nature about us too.
Right. So we can ask Him to give us His love for a certain person. I've done that a couple times in my life, and He really has given me love for that person.
I think asking God for His qualities, that we can live out His qualities, is one of the best ways to live in the adult strategy behavior. Because now we're not living in the flesh, we're not trying to satisfy what the flesh wants, but it's really wanting what God wants, and to demonstrate His love and compassion toward others.
Right. So one other important one we should talk about is being able to apologize, to own when someone confronts you on something that you did to hurt them, instead of saying, well, I didn't mean to do that, you took it wrong.
Wasn't my fault.
Yeah. I mean, being able to own our mistakes and apologize when we harm somebody. And even if you don't agree with them, you can say, I really care about I care about your feelings, and I can see that you're really upset about this.
Right.
And let's talk more about that.
One belief system that I had years ago growing up is, if I didn't do it on purpose, and I shouldn't have to apologize.
Oh, yeah.
And really, it doesn't matter, if it was our fault or not. It's the fact that we're acknowledging, that hurt that person. No matter if I said it or somebody else said it, it's like we can treat that like it's no big deal, or we can ask God for empathy and caring, so that we can really understand the impact of how that hurt. I like to use the example of what can feel like a pebble to some people can be a boulder to other people. So I've asked people the question, what size boulder was that I just threw on you?
That's a good idea.
And they're going, well, I asked that to my daughter one time, and she said, well, I have a little finger sticking out. That's the only thing showing. And in my brain, I could say, oh, you're so dramatic. You've always been dramatic, and you make a big deal out of nothing, and blah. Well, that would have just added more stones onto her. But see, to ask her, help me understand how that hurt you.
Yes.
Because I didn't know. I didn't have a clue how much that hurt.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand how it hurt her. So I just asked her that question to help me understand how that hurt you. And then I listened and used the speaker-listener technique like we teach on this program. And I just repeated back what I was hearing. Now, in my brain, I could have been, and probably did, say, oh, I can't believe you're making such a big deal out of this. But you don't go there.
No.
You just listen and validate. That's all of our job. It's not to necessarily fix it, but to, it's amazing what happens when you hear and validate, because that is part of fixing it, really.
It is.
because that's what we're needing.
In fact, sometimes no problem solving is needed. Somebody just needed to be heard and understood.
Oh, it's so powerful.
Yeah.
So powerful.
And when we're talking about apologizing too, we don't want to say, well, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
What you want to say is, boy, I really hear that hurt you when I said that or when I did that, and I really care about how you feel, and I really am sorry. Do you think you could forgive me?
Right, absolutely. Because when you say sorry in a flippant way, it's like saying put a rubber band around your head and snap out of it.
Right.
That doesn't help at all. Yeah, but to say, I really want to understand how that hurt and use empathy.
Yeah.
I've talked to people, Barb, that felt like they had no empathy at all, just none. And so you can ask God for that, and the Lord understands where you're at. And, David in the Bible says, create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me.
Right.
And to me, that's just like saying, Lord, give me compassion, because I don't have any compassion. And I need you to change my heart.
Yes.
And give me a heart of compassion. It's
Right.
okay to ask him for that.
Yeah.
Be honest. Just be honest with yourself. And say, I don't care. There's reasons why you don't care, by the way. But you can ask God for a heart of compassion, and he'll give that to you.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
He really will.
So one thing that Chuck and I have done, if we're having a conversation that's been difficult, we might postpone the time that we're talking about it to a more appropriate time.
Yes.
So one thing we learned for me is that we can't get into a conversation about something that could be difficult if it's my lunch hour and I have to go back to work, because I don't want to go back to work all upset, and then I've got to concentrate on my work, but
Right.
I'm really upset. So we found out lunchtime isn't a good time. I would say we would do it in an evening when we had more time for each other. So picking an appropriate time.
Yes.
Using humor to relieve the stress or lighten a situation, but you never want to make jokes at the other person's expense.
No, not at all.
You can make a joke about yourself or whatever, but don't make jokes at each other's offense. Chuck and I, at each other's expense, we never say, way to go, klutz, or use sarcasm with each other at all. And I really love that I don't have to worry about Chuck embarrassing me in public, making sarcastic comments. So you can use humor, but be careful about how you do it.
See, that's such a good point, because I think sarcasm can be a way of paying somebody back. For something that you're really offended at, so you use sarcasm as a way of paying them back. But believe me, that is not going to restore the relationship. It's not going to make it safe. It's just going to contaminate the relationship, because we're either contributing or contaminating every time we speak.
That's right. That's right. I've heard the good words called little silver boxes.
Yes.
So we can give people little silver boxes, or we can deliver a blow.
That's right.
So some of the other adult strategies we wanted to talk about is compromising with each other, trying to find a solution where both of you get a little bit of what you want, finding common ground instead of looking for the lowest common denominator. Look for the highest common truth.
Yes.
Between you. I think it's good not to feel like it's got to be my way or the highway, or that no one else can have a right or correct way of looking at it. We're all different, so we have different points of view.
That's right.
So,
yeah.
Something that helps me too is journaling, writing down what my thoughts or feelings are. Really helps me. It's almost like the talking, only you're having a voice, but you're doing it on paper.
Right, yeah, that's good.
Sometimes it helps me to go sit with the Lord and journal about what's going on with me before I talk to you about it.
Yeah. And
to hear from what he has to say.
Right. And when you write those things down, you can read those back to yourself and say, wow, I had no idea I was feeling that until I read that back.
Yes.
And then I thought, I guess I am feeling that way.
Right.
That's a great way to get the feelings out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Making sure that we have all the facts, before we make decisions or say something. I think in Proverbs it says it's, I don't remember exactly how the verse goes, but it's foolish to answer a matter before you have all the facts or before you've heard both sides. So you really want to, like, you hear that somebody was saying something about you and you're not happy about it, and so you go check it out with them instead of just getting mad and saying, well, I heard that you made a comment about this or whatever. Is that true? So before you go with something as truth, check it out and make sure it's the truth.
Yes.
So check out the facts.
Get the facts. Get the facts is very important. Well, today you could be listening and thinking, boy, I've been in the child position as far back as I remember. And talking about being in the adult position sounds like 1,000 miles away. But every journey starts with one step. So ask the Lord to help you to make that step toward living a life of not reacting but responding in the adult position. And He'll help you. Sometimes we think we have to lay out a blueprint and explain to God every detail about everything. But He already knows. He knows how to do everything that we need. So it's just calling on Him and asking Him. So our time's gone, but we appreciate you watching today. And write in your comments if you want to, or get on our website and fill out your comments in the prayer request tab. And we will pray for you. And I encourage you to hit the like, subscribe, and share button, because that helps us on our program. If you also want to make a donation to our ministry, it's a 501c3 organization. Everything's tax deductible. Just hit the donate button. Donut. I started calling it a donut button. But you hit the donate button, and that's how you can contribute. God bless you today. We will look forward to seeing you next time.
If you are blessed by this ministry, please subscribe, like, and share. You can also make donations at chucklewisministries.com. Join us to keep uncovering the tools to build better relationships together. Let's do this again next week.